Well, hello everyone. It is me, your favorite fake oracle, Dr. Whimsy, the Oracle of Whimsy, and I'm here to spend a little time with you in my kitchen slash medicinary. Behind me, you can see all the amazing herbs that I use in my private practice, and there's some more down there. And I always love being in my kitchen. I always love the space here because it's just a very healing energy. It brings me joy to prepare the medicines for my patients, to grind them. I like to pray and listen to mantras actually when I prepare the medicines. So maybe the cards will be good today because the plants do give off a nice vibration. Wouldn't you agree? And it's not just that when we ingest the plants, but it's also, I'll come a little closer, it's also when we just are around the plants that we get a nice vibe. I also want to give a shout out to the wonderful person that sent me the Palo Santo candle. It smells lovely and I use it often. Now, many of you had questions for me as a remote viewer. You wanted to know about the election, of course, the Ukraine war, what's going on in Israel, but you were also concerned about the election and specifically the Supreme Court. Of course, what kind of Supreme Court we have doesn't just depend on who becomes the president, but whether or not the Democrats or the Republicans take the majority in the Senate. All right, so without further ado, we're going to do the impasse prayer, and then we're going to try and get to as many questions as possible. A lot of you also had some celebrity questions. You wanted to know how Sean Diddy Combs was doing in prison. He is evidently going through a very difficult withdrawal. When I tried to connect with him, I felt like instead of praying to God, I was crying out for my mother. In that sense, I felt like my mother was my enabler, and I wanted my mommy to come and fix it, which I thought was an interesting insight into Sean Diddy. All right, let's do the impasse prayer. I want to call on white light protection for myself and this community as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and our good angels to be with us. Please give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journeys, to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, the planet, the people we love, but also to help those that we may have strife with. And together collectively as a community, we say, Amen. The first thing I'm going to do is to just check on the candidates. I'm very curious to see how Donald Trump is doing. You'll be able to see the cards because I am using my laptop, and so I'll be able to show them to you. It's kind of nice to have a setup here because it allows you to see the cards and to kind of see how I interpret them. I am a remote viewer who uses heart-centered remote viewing, and so for that reason, I use the cards to trigger me. And the impasse prayer is used to put you in a semi-trance. Many of you are students of HCRV, and so hopefully you recognize the technique. All right, Donald Trump. How you doing, Donald? One of the things that's been coming up a lot in the psychic readings has to do with race riots and protest and an increasing risk to create chaos. It's almost as if in an act of desperation, the Trump campaign is pushing for as much chaos and destruction as possible, as if to suggest that Biden and Harris cannot control the crime, cannot control the streets, and it's a way of making things as crazy as possible prior to the election. So even if they can't win, they want things to be as crazy and chaotic as possible. I use a 12-card Celtic spread. I use a base from the bottom, and then the card underneath which used to exist in early tarot, but for whatever reason people stopped using it, was known as the Karma card. And you can see that the base of the card is to walk away from everything he built. It's as if the numbers speak for themselves. This person knows they can't win, and I keep seeing him walking away, leaving everything. It's repeated energy that keeps coming up, as if he has quiet quit. He'll do the rallies, maybe because he's getting paid, but on some level, this person has already psychologically accepted the fact that they're not going to win this campaign. Interesting karma card is the Three of Wands, which would indicate a 3-month period, because I read wands as 3 months, and it could indicate that he is moving on, possibly even overseas, because this is an overseas card, or looking at his opportunities elsewhere over the next 3 months. So this person is already planning their exit, and they're planning what their future is going to be. Where he is right now, a new beginning, is the Page of Wands, but it presented as an inversion, which leads me also to suspect that this is someone who may feel that their whatever they were planning has been averted. This is Archangel Uriel, and he opens the path for new opportunities, and you can see it came as inverted. And again, I shuffled the cards, you saw me hanging it up. So this is a path that leads to nowhere. This is a path that he is hanging up. He cannot go forward. He is being blocked. What is above him is the Death card. I cannot believe these cards. All I do is a prayer and a shuffle. But you can see again here, his life is completely changed, transformed. This is somebody who, it's the end. It's the end of the road for this guy. He cannot progress. And that could be because only about 5% of people at this point are undecided. And if it split 50-50, Harris would win. It's just looking like Republicans are accepting the fact that the election is pretty much over. And what he's sitting in is the King of Pentacles. This is the businessman's card. It's the person. This guy is thinking in terms of business. There's I wish I could say that this man is being tormented by what's going on with him, but he is not. This is a person who is thinking always in terms of his business, how he can get ahead, and what his opportunities. His past placement was that he used to be the president, right? The emperor is the leader. It's the person who's in charge. It's the person that makes decisions. And he's heading into family secrets, family dynamics, and an inheritance. He is inheriting something from his family. Now, you could argue that it's good, or you could argue it's bad, depending upon what you inherit. I know that his father evidently had Alzheimer's. You could also argue that it's a genetic component to this card, because it's whatever our inheritance is. So he is headed towards death and inheritance. He is reaping what he sows in terms of his family history. I see him traveling. I see him traveling to Arizona, Nevada, California area. You can see that southwestern direction. It could be because they're trying to, looks like he is possibly leading in Arizona. So you can see that southwestern card is planned for him. His opposition, Harris, the Fool takes a leap of faith. There's a real tremendous momentum to the Fool. The Fool just goes for it. They are all in. They have faith. His hopes and fears, King of Swords, can be an energy of the police. It can be the military. It can be an air sign male, but it's one thing that we know about the King of Swords. It is logical, it is rational, and it is a truth seeker. It cuts truth like a knife. And the final outcome for him is that he will, Queen of Wands. I see the Queen of Wands as a strong woman who establishes boundaries. She seeks justice absolute. You could argue that it's Kamala's card. The clarification, he travels, there's a celebration, and the opposition receives the Six of Wands, which is the victory card. So again, it's indicating that in a way he's okay with this. In a way he's kind of reconciled himself. He doesn't want to cooperate with that, whoever this is, this police or this truth issue. And then over Kamala Harris, she takes the weapons of war away from him. So at this point, it looks like he has accepted the fact that he's going to lose. He's already planning his next business venture, and it looks like his biggest concern is the truth coming out, or the military, or police, something like this. It could be some kind of police action. Now, many of you have asked about the Supreme Court, and you've asked about Amy Coney Barrett, who seems to be the most liberal of the conservatives. How does she feel about the fact that women are dying in parking lots because of policies that she pushed? From a remote viewer's perspective, I felt as Amy Coney Barrett that had nothing to do with what I was promoting. I was promoting a pro-life stance, not intervention for a woman where the child has already died, the pregnancy has already ended. It was interesting to be Amy Coney Barrett because I also felt like my religious beliefs were part of my stability. It was something that I had grown up with, charismatic Catholicism, and it's a touch into my emotionalism, because a charismatic expression of her religion is based on emotionalism, speaking in tongues, and it's not based on logic or rationale. It is an emotional movement within Catholicism, which tells me that this is someone that can be swayed by faith and emotion. She has an aspect to her personality which is not rational, which is emotional, and can be whipped into a frenzy in an evangelical sort of way. It's an interesting branch of Catholicism that's highly emotional and highly charged. So let's take a look at the future of the Supreme Court. Remember, it depends on the Senate. Let's first take a look at the Senate, actually. Are we going to be able to hold on to the Senate, considering that Manchin is retiring? Will we be able to get any liberal judges on the Supreme Court? Because if we can't, we've got a problem. The Senate. I'll just do 4 cards so that we can get to everything. 4 cards is a blitz, and it corresponds with the 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th house of a Celtic cross. We could be gaining possibly a seat in the Senate. It actually looks good for Democrats. You can see the 6 of Pentacles is there, which is a balance of the justice. Really nice card, the 6 of Pentacles moving into 7th position. We can see that the balance is happening in the courts, and we also see mercy and justice. The opposition to the Senate is the Queen of Pentacles. It can be business. It's a card associated with one's business or one's finances. And it could be that the economic or dark money is the opposition to this. The hopes and fears is confidence going forward in the Senate. But we have an Ace of Cups coming in. If you are a Democrat, it could be that we win a seat in the Senate, possibly because of the issue of Roe v. Wade. We'll do a clarification over the issue of the Senate. We can see that there's fighting in the Senate with a 5 of Wands, and then the opposition, the Star. The opposition has not gone away. The opposition will not go away. Instead, they're saying that the opposition remains. So even if the Heritage Foundation doesn't get what they want this election cycle, they will be waiting 2 years from now, 4 years from now, there is a real feeling here with the star over the dark money that it's going to be very hard to get rid of this lobbying group because it is so tied to faith, economics, etc. The hopes and the fears, again, these are financial cards, and whether or not people will be moving towards moderation, and whether or not we'll be able to economically, if will we be able to fund these down ballot races. Here it is, the race, the chariot, and then Ace of Cups. Based on these cards, again, we're looking at possibly gaining one Democratic seat. So we could be seeing, if we're now at 50 with one decided by the VP, we could be looking at 51. So that would be interesting. All right, we're going to now take a look, another 4-card blitz to just look at what's going on with the Supreme Court. The future of the Supreme Court. Good to see you all. And if you could like, share, and subscribe, that would be awesome. It really helps the channel. Think about memberships also. It's a great way to support my work here. Anyway, thanks a lot. Let's take a look at the Supreme Court. Thanks for being here. Obviously, I want the Democrats to win, so I am biased in the sense that I'm asking about the future of Democrats in the Supreme Court, and it looks quite auspicious. You can see a couple of things. First off, we have the star with the courts, which would indicate that we are going to be bringing in new people. We can also see the opposition is devastated by the results, 10 of Swords. This leads me to think that there could be some legal action or something that happens that is devastating to some of the people that are on the Supreme Court. There's a real concern here about the world, about our global standing in the world, and about this group of evangelicals, Catholic evangelicals, that have taken control of the Supreme Court. I think there's something like 4 or 5 evangelical Catholics currently on the Supreme Court. Roberts, Barrett, Kavanaugh are Catholic. I think there are a couple of others that are Catholic. So ironically, so is Sotomayor, I believe. But hopes and fears the world. And then we can see here, interesting, 8 of Cups. And that would lead me to think that somebody, I have felt that around February of this year, we could be seeing somebody leaving. It could be Thomas because of health reasons. But someone is leaving the court. Let's try and get a clarification on that. Yes, Ace of Swords. Within 1 year, we have victory and good stars for the Democrats in the courts. And then somebody has a health crisis, perhaps, but they're going to be okay in the opposition. The hopes and fears of is the ethos. It's interesting. The dark aspects of the Hierophant are dogma. And so there's this fear, perhaps, of a worldview or a dogma that's having a negative impact on the courts over the issue of who leaves the courts. Something about theft or people who committed acts of theft or crime. 7 of Swords is a theft card. Somebody leaves due to theft. So we could be seeing people, at least one person leaving the courts due to some issue of corruption or something like that. However, the wish card also falls on the opposition. So say, for example, we tried to get 4 or 5 people off the courts because of corruption. We may only be able to get 1 off the court or 2 off the court because there's something, even though they've been devastated or they've taken a blow, the 9 of Cups is still there. So probably because it's going to be very difficult for us to reverse some of the damage that they've done. All right, so I am going to do a full blitz for Sean Diddy Combs. People have asked for me to take a look and see what it's like for him in prison. I certainly would like to know. Like I said, I felt like I really needed my mother. I really felt a codependent relationship with my mother, as if my mother fixes everything, as if my mother makes everything right. And for that reason, it was interesting. Many people pray to God, but he was calling out for his mother. So let's take a look. Evidently, he's having a real hard time with withdrawal, and let's just see how his cards are. Sean Diddy Combs, how is he doing in prison? How is Sean Diddy Combs doing in prison? This cannot be my life. I cannot accept this as my reality. I cannot accept that this is my life. That is how I feel as Sean Diddy Combs. I cannot accept this. The base of his matter is an inverted Archangel Raphael. An inverted Archangel Raphael. He's sick. He's sick. This individual, his behaviors, he's mentally ill, and the mental illness leads to drug problems, etc. But he has an inverted Archangel Raphael. Archangel Raphael brings the medicine. He is the archangel that brings the elixir. It's interesting, omega-3s, we think about fish oil, but it's kind of interesting that it came as inverted. And also, Two of Cups has a medical aspect to it. You can see the medical symbol there of the entwined asp. He could be moved. Something could happen where they try to help him, because he is having a serious medical crisis. He must have been on a ton of drugs. Just because you've got this reaching to try and help him due to a medical crisis, and he has had a real health collapse here. He is not somebody who can handle this. Where he's at right now is he has very good lawyers, I would say. He has very good lawyers that are going to do everything in their power to get him out of there. The Page of Hermit is fast at work in the first house, looking at everything and anything that they can do to get him out of there. His crossing card is Mama, Queen of Cups, a woman right over him, loving him, helping him. I think that could be his mother. And what is above him, things are happening very, very quickly for Sean Diddy Combs. You have that Eight of Wands coming into fourth position, which is quick, quick, quick. And what he's sitting in is money, Ace of Pentacles. So this is a guy who's got the money to get the best of the best. He will pay for a private suite if he out of his own pocket, whatever he has to do. The money is there. He also is concerned about people finding out about his money. This is a guy who's concerned about possibly hidden money. It's what he sits in. It's what he marinates in. Another aspect of this is possibly people looking under the hood into his business and finding money. I feel like this guy had a lot of money overseas and a lot of overseas contact, and he was reaching out to his mother to try and help cover up or destroy evidence regarding overseas financial contracts. And then where he is at right now, Six of Pentacles, again, would indicate mercy and justice in the seventh house, but also mercy. You can see here this mercy and this assisting him. This person is sick. They are physically sick, probably having a very difficult time of it, probably having a very difficult time with withdrawal. And for that reason, they are getting assistance. Evidently, he's seeing a psychiatrist. He's suicidal. That's not unusual when you're facing these kinds of charges, and you also have this kind of mental illness and physical illness you're dealing with. And his opposition is the police. As I have said, the truth seeker who carries the sword or who is armed is the King of Swords. It's also truth, like an Aquarius energy. This is somebody who clears the clouds, and it's associated in Chinese medicine with air and metal elements. But it's basically the truth seeker who cuts through the clouds and is out to get to the truth. But it does have a military or police aspect to it. And the hopes and the fears for him is that, again, he will receive healing or that he will receive a mercy wedding. The final outcome for him is Six of Cups. This guy is a BS artist. You get he can wheel and deal, he can woo, he can charm. Six of Cups is like somebody who can really, yeah, baby, I know exactly how you feel. This is somebody who could potentially be able to manipulate psychiatrists, manipulate other people in order to have his personal needs met. The clarification for him, Ace of Wands, so gets his power back, and the opposition, the police are feeling increasingly trapped. This guy is going to be able to possibly work out his problem. An inverted justice card. This guy could use his money and his manipulative abilities in order to get a sweet deal for himself, and could even be potentially released in the future in the next couple of months under house arrest or something like that with this type of positioning. The bottom line is that this is somebody who's a charmer. He's somebody who is able to manipulate others, and he has a lot of money to do it. With that Ace of Pentacles, he's very afraid also that some of this information could come out. The fact that it's an inverted justice card could be injustice for him. And Ace of Cups, given an offer. The fact that the police feel like they've been tied up in legal hassles, again, could indicate that he's able to woo or con his way out of jail and into possibly house arrest or something like that. It's amazing what you can get away with when you've got great attorneys. We'll continue to follow the case as it goes along, but it looks like with these types of cards and that he could be released. It could be partially due to the fact that he's not able to receive the medical care that he is requesting. Well, that was fun. All right, thank you everybody for joining me for this quick kitchen tarot. If you're trying to get in for a reading with me, please find all the information below. You set the appointment through Booksy, and then I will call you at the designated time. Be aware also that I'm on Pacific Daylight Standard Time, and so if you set an appointment for 6 p.m. and you're on the East Coast, it's going to be 9 p.m. your time. So always take into consideration the time difference. Last thing I would say is if you need a quick reading with me, just one question, I think they only run about $30. Those can be booked through Wizio, and I usually can get back to you within 5 business days. All right. Thanks again. Be kind to all so that all will be kind to you too. We'll see you next time, and God bless. Peace out, everyone. Bye.